Okay. Bam. Greet you in the words of Assalamu alaikum, which means peace and blessings be upon you. And I mentioned both Jesus and Muhammad's names. They were both messages of truth and reality. Peace be upon them both. You're looking at the Underground Railroad TV show. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30, but you can catch us on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And we can talk about sports. First, I want to say hi to the people in Central America, the United States, Canada, Asia, Africa, the UK, Europe. Left somebody Australia. And we're going to be talking about sports. And I don't feel that some people may not be politically conscious, but I'm going to get the experts' opinions and views. And I'm going to get them to introduce themselves, starting from my right. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother. And I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be on this show. My name is Salim Abdul Khalik. I'm an author, and I've also done lectures. I'm author of a couple of books available on Amazon, Slavery Reparations and White Supremacy, and also the book Afri-Leaks.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you, my brother, very much for the honor of your invitation. My name is Wali Muhammad. I am a student of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the leadership of his minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I am a member of the Nation of Islam.
Okay. Dr. Russell.
I commend you for extending the invitation to me. My name is Dr. Nehemiah Russell. I am an educator and human rights activist.
Okay. You know what? Everybody wants to talk about sports. It be the Bulls, the Blackhawks, soccer, but I want to go a little further in depth in that. And I want to ask, once upon a time, they had the Negro League. And what happened is they were successful, but they brought in the one to be certain marquee players to be incorporated into the American League, which Branch Rickey of, I think the Dodgers got Jackie Robinson. And why did that black players buy into that and they didn't want to keep formulating their own league? And why were they conscious enough and studious enough to realize that they were being exploited to a certain degree? So I'll start with.
Well, black people are easy to forget. You know, when you do a little bit of reading into anthropology, for example, you find that black people were on this earth many zillions of years, long before any white people appeared. But yet, you have some people on planet Earth that think that we can't do well if we don't integrate or intermarry with white folks when we existed for millennium,
yes,
you know, without the appearance of one white person on planet Earth.
Wow. You want to elaborate both of y'all, please?
Well, I would say very briefly, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote, and as his minister continues in the inside of the Final Call newspaper and before in Muhammad Speaks, it is written that the offer of integration was a hypocritical trick to make us think that our 400-year-old open enemy,
yes, sir,
all of a sudden is our friend. Well, the Poe brothers who formed the Negro League and played, they didn't have any understanding of prophecy, nor did they have the knowledge of themselves, and they fell victim to the trick of integration.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
I concur. Integration has been a great impediment in terms of the African American community. Integration is what brought about the downfall of certain African nations. The Europeans knew that, you understand, that if they integrated, they would weaken the dynasties. Mm-hmm. They did it with deliberate levels there, sir. Yes. Even in Egypt, in other levels like that, to integrate in terms of the matter. Mm-hmm. People such as Garvey and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they understood the power of having a homogeneous level if possible. Integration has assisted in destroying the African American.
That's right.
Wow. And you know, why was Muhammad Ali, which in my opinion was the greatest boxer in the world?
Not according to Floyd Mayweather.
That's right. And why did he understood that he should not, he should not go to Vietnam? Why was he politically conscious? And you have so many other players like Michael Jordan. I'm going to use him as an example because we're going to come to him. And other marquee players, Sammy Sosa, they did not understand that they were not politically conscious, but Muhammad Ali was, even about Vietnam. He said, no Vietcong, with all due respect, ever called me a nigger. And I'm quoting. Why was he so politically conscious? And our players today are not politically conscious. And they don't think Black Lives Matter.
Well, the reason
LeBron James did wear T-shirts saying Black Lives Matter.
Give him a little bit more credit than the majority of these athletes. But the difference is that Muhammad Ali was given a dose of blackness. He drank the black coffee. And once you develop the self-esteem, self-knowledge of self, and understand where you come from and your place in this creation, then you don't get caught up in a trick bag in believing in the Trojan horse of white supremacy and black inferiority, which results in the idea that in order for you to have any self-worth, that you have to be amongst people that despise you and hate you.
Well, when
he come from the Nation of Islam, Brother Muhammad Ali, but go ahead.
When you talk about Muhammad Ali, as I'm listening to my brother Salim, I thought about when I think it was after the George Foreman fight, and they asked him, said, "Is this the greatest day of your life?" And he said, "No, the greatest day of my life was when I met the most honorable Elijah Muhammad." Well, why? Because it wasn't that he developed self-esteem. Inherent in the teachings is self-esteem.
Right.
Inherent in the teachings is an idea of self-worth and an identity. That we're not coons and ham bones and shines and niggers. We're direct descendants from the Creator himself. And when you have that knowledge, it turns the light on in your mind, and you see things differently. So when you mention some of the other athletes present time, Michael Jordan and others, unfortunately, these brothers have not accepted that knowledge.
That's right.
Therefore, you can't put on a blind man the same pressure of duty that you would put on a man that possesses light, possesses knowledge, possesses wisdom. Allah says in Quran, say, are the blind and the seeing alike? Absolutely not.
That's right.
Yes, you also must bear in mind that Michael Jordan, you understand, is actually a gladiator, as most of the typical players are. They're gladiators.
That's right.
But once they speak out, then there's another level. The Cassius Clay that later on became Muhammad Ali, I remember when he was searching for the truth. He was searching, sir. He bypassed the Deacons movement, with Davis and such like that, you understand? And he came to the ultimate teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because he was looking for the ultimate level. Otherwise, we had many so-called African American leaders, but they didn't want to touch the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because it was too black in terms of the matter. And even the Hodges, when Hodges was very outspoken critic of the Bull's administration, and later on to his demise. What they did to it, they destroyed the young man.
That's right. They should.
He one of the best three-point players you want to deal with, sir. They destroyed him, sir. Anytime you make a stand like that, sir. And when I seen that young man, Cassius Clay, became Muhammad Ali, made that stand, sir. Jim Brown, another one, sir.
And Jim Brown was another one. That's right.
Exactly, sir. Once you drink that black coffee, sir,
that's right,
with no cream or sugar,
that's right,
then you become dangerous to the European American.
That's right.
Why, and as we talk about Muhammad Ali, I'm going to come back to Muhammad Ali, but I want to ask you something about Michael Jordan, with all due respect. There was a lawsuit, people saying that, they used his name without his permission. And that was, I could see, it was justifiable for him to get the capital. And he was so outraged. Why has he not been so outraged about what has went on in Ferguson? What has not went on with the young lady that got killed? They say committed suicide. Why has he not been politically conscious about things that are going on that directly affect black people? But there are people going around wearing his gym shoes and saying, I want to be like Mike. He never defended Craig Hodges. He didn't vote till he was 25 or 26 years old. What type of man is him? Is it not to come out against black consciousness? About things that are directly going on in the community.
Yes. But he's like the President Obama. And Honorable Louis Farrakhan spoke about it. So you cannot expect him to act and portray as a typical African American.
Everybody want to be like Mike.
In terms of that, because he has that mixture, sir. I went to school with some people like Obama, sir, and they wanted to be Euro, sir.
Yeah.
And the same typical behavior with the Michael Jordan, sir. He has no bands with us, sir.
You know what? Let me say this. I have a saying: without education and information, there can be no inspiration or motivation. What they did to the mind of the black man was worse than when they dropped the atomic bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Why do I say that? I say that because when we look at Japan today, Japan had recovered.
Sure.
But when we go around the black community and the whole black nation all across America, and even in many parts of the world today, we see that black people and African people are still suffering the same effects that slavery instituted 400-something years ago. We still have not recovered yet. So again, the devastating effects of the atomic bomb in Japan was far less damaging than what was done to us.
What'd you say about Michael Jordan?
Well, I said that to say that Michael Jordan is a brother that had never had proper self-esteem and self-worth instilled within himself. He never was taught the greatness of that chemical that Allah put in him called melanin. And had he known that, had most black people, the majority of black people on planet Earth, known today, for example, that the kinks that Allah put in our hair causes the ultraviolet radiation from the sun to bounce off of it in order to keep the brain cool. He caused the black man's nose to expand so that it could more easily breathe the humidity of a hot climate. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we were taught things like this from an early age, many of us would never have a problem understanding the need for black self-esteem.
Yes. Yeah, but you also must understand, too, just if possible, I know it's your next turn, is that if the European American really realized where he came from, sir, he's a mere hybrid of us, sir.
That's correct.
If he really knew who his daddy
That's right.
and his mother
That's right.
was, sir.
Understand. Absolutely. Right. Michael Jordan, could you please, your perspective about Michael Jordan and other athletes like him?
One word. Slaves. Property of another. A slave is one whose action and his activity is dominated by another. These are slaves. Our athletes, our entertainers are slaves.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
And you don't have a slave who speaks freely.
That's right.
Because the slave understands that his sustenance depends upon how he pleases his master. We haven't been taught of God, the true God. We haven't been taught of the right way to live our lives. So you trying to blame the effect without looking at the cause. Poor Michael Jordan is a victim of parents who were raised as servitude slaves, chattel slaves for 310 years. He doesn't have the knowledge of himself. Well, you say, well, in this modern time, he should. Well, unfortunately, the enemy taught us to eat the wrong food. And by teaching us to eat the wrong food, inherent in that wrong food was the ingredient of fear. It's fear that keeps us as slaves. When God wants us now to be free, his light is among us. Yes. We should be walking like free men, but we're not, because fear. In our lesson say the devil taught us to eat the wrong food. When you eat the wrong food, when you eat the delicacies of your master, this nasty swine and even this beef now and chicken, I was told that most of the antibiotics that America produce, 90% of it goes into the animals. 90% of your antibiotics. That's right. They had to feed the chickens Prozac because the chickens were killing themselves in the unnatural environment that they're being raised. Wow. So they say them Prozac to keep them from killing one another. Then they found out the Prozac speeds up the fattening process. Then you turn around and eat that thing. Then you wonder why you docile.
That's right.
That's happy. Go ahead.
I concur what he's saying. If you carefully notice this picture that someone's supposed to win some level of Academy Award that the European Americans came out called the Gladiator. If you carefully note, in terms of the matter is that after the Gladiator fought, he went back into his cells, went back into his prison, sir. That's what they do those players like Michael Jordan. The rest of you still got to go back here. Oh, for a moment you have this. That's right. But after that you must return to your cell, to your pit.
Wow.
That's right.
And I'm not going to bring up Serena before I bring up Michelle Obama, even though we're talking about sports. But Michelle Obama is being demonized. I'm not an Obama fan, first of all. But my opinion, I want to ask you, they're disrespecting the First Lady on Facebook, on Twitter, showing her looking like a monkey, looking like an ape. And Serena Williams on Facebook, Twitter, and all that, who's one of the greatest black tennis players of our time. We don't know who will be the greatest next year. But why are they demonizing them? Why are they saying they look like monkeys, they look like apes? And why are women, I'm going to ask you about women, why are women trying to get French curls and trying to get hairdos like Europeans and staying away from their own culture? That's two questions in one.
May I, brother?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I just want to say very briefly 2 points. Number one, we got upset with the white woman who wanted to pretend that she was black and run the NAACP.
That sure did.
But then you want to deny who you are, blonde your hair, change the color of your pupils, and then you upset with her. Second of all, in terms of the First Lady, Michelle Obama, and Venus and Serena, if you would just get the knowledge of yourself, you would know that you're the mother of civilization. You're not no monkey. That was the Caucasian people in their attempt to graft themselves back. Allah says in Quran, what? Be ye apes and swine. Be ye apes and swine. They would rather say that their father is a monkey than to say that the original black man is the father of civilization. I'll be a monkey's uncle, honey. That means that my daddy and him are brothers. I'd rather say that than to say I come from the original.
That's right.
What the whole science of masonry is all about. You learn to do like the original man in the East. You set up these temples in America, Syria, Aleppo, Medina, Mecca. That's you trying to imitate us. with the knowledge of ourselves and civilization.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
You ain't somebody that's so smart. You sat down at the feet of our fathers. We found you eating the bark off of trees and eating flesh raw. But my brothers and sisters, if you don't accept the knowledge of self, how can you ever have a sense of self-worth and dignity? You'll never get it. You give a damn how high an office you ascend or what kind of job you got, a position. If you don't have the knowledge of yourself, you are absolutely lost.
Okay.
That's right.
Y'all would have got, please.
And deep down inside of the crevices of that European, every now and then he has a longing to be when he come down to the posterior. His lady want the posterior
That's right.
of an ancient mother.
Yes, sir.
And the skin.
That's right.
Some of them will spend billions of dollars to go into the tan.
That's
Until
right.
because deep down inside,
Tanning
they
salons.
admire
Yeah.
in terms of matter. And deep down inside, they know
So,
who their mother.
so that's why
Father.
that's why they're demonizing the first lady, Michelle Obama, and Serena Williams.
Yes.
That's why they.
Well, you know, America, white America has never had any respect for the black woman at all. I mean, you know, going back in the history of slavery, and even beyond that, the black woman was always the most mistreated and disrespected female in the history of mankind, and it hasn't stopped. You know, the election of Obama and his wife becoming the first lady would never end the stereotype and the vilification of the black woman. But at the same time, you know, this is the same woman that the white man, even after he stigmatized her, he turned around and got in bed with her. You understand what I'm saying? To the point that even in the history of the South, we hear accounts about how a brother would be laying up in bed with his wife at midnight, and 3 or 4 Klansmen would knock on the door, make the brother get out of bed with his wife, and molest the brother's wife. I mean, this is a history that we all need to know about in these times of Hollywood producing series like Scandal, which in the end result programs black women to admire white men and want to get in bed with them.
You know, I want to ask you something. You know, Minister Farrakhan spoke on this. He said something about Cecil the lion that got killed over in Africa. Okay, and they raised so much hell about it. And you can't kill a rabbit out of season without going to jail. Why is it you can kill a black man out of, as they say, at season? And the black man is never in season. But I'm saying, and they raised all that hell about Cecil the lion killing him in Africa, but they not concerned about black life like that.
Yes, but
You only got 4 and 5 minutes left.
yes, but you must. I just want to say this: you must bear in mind that there's war against us, sir.
That's
War
right.
to destroy
That's right.
the African American male and the entire community. This is war, a holocaust, and we are psychologically sedate.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Either one of y'all could.
There's a book I recommend everyone one to read. It's a book called The ISIS Papers by Dr. Frances Cress Wells. And when she describes the war, as the brother mentioned, in the Holocaust that's taking place against the black race, is well described in that book by Dr. Frances Cress Wells. And it talks about the necessity on the part of the white race to eliminate us because of their fear of genetic annihilation. I recommend that everybody go out and get a copy of that book that has not heretofore read it.
I would say, you know, until we make Black Lives Matter ourselves, it's easy for someone not to care if our lives matter. Second of all, I would say I know that this is being taped, but in October, on the 10th, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has issued a call for all of us, men, women, and children, to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. The theme is justice or else. The question is, what is the or else? See, since God is authored and championed our cause, then what is the or else?
Let me share.
Eh?
Let me share something with you. Some of the mechanisms are in motion presently now. I was on several shows, and I stated on a certain level, I said, they continue to shoot these African American young men. Pretty soon, they're going to begin to execute and implement levels on the police department. And we see it happening as we speak. That's a part of the else.
Excuse me for interrupting y'all. We have 3 minutes left, and I want to give y'all closing statements because there may have been something that y'all want to tell, how to get in contact, and you specifically want to say that you didn't get the opportunity to say.
Well, the only thing I want to close with saying that this is a critical time that we're living in, and it's imperative that all of us as a race of people, I don't care whether you're Muslim, Black Christian, Pan-Africanist, Hebrew, Israelite, Rasta, whatever you are, it's critical that we come together, put aside our differences, because if we don't, we're going to be annihilated.
Get in contact with you, and then we'll.
Anyone could contact me, Brother Salim Abdul Khalik, P.O. Box 2076, Chicago, Illinois 60690.
Phone number?
Phone number, area code 872-800-7355.
Okay, any finishing comments, and please give y'all contact information.
I would say, as my brother said, that we've tried everything. My teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is saying. We've tried kneeling in, wailing in, begging in, crawling in, sitting in. We've tried giving them our daughters and our wives. We've tried everything. The only thing we have not tried is our unity. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said this, that our unity is a weapon more powerful than a nuclear or atomic bomb. Let's try unity.
Any contact information?
Yes, you can reach me at area code 888-724-2960. 888-724-2960.
Okay, Dr. Russell, contact information, and give them a finishing comment.
Yes, my finishing comment, I concur. It's either justice or else. And my contact information is that they can deal with me through the underground.
Yeah, okay. And see, I want to send a message out here to everybody that may be looking at this in cyberspace or television, that it's important that you invite each of these gentlemen out, each one of them on your shows, so they could promote what they're talking about, because it's vital for our people as a whole to hear the message and the information that they disseminate. So these telephone numbers that they gave out, don't just say, oh, forget it. Get the information, because you need these people on your show, because they're speaking truth. And I want to thank y'all for accepting the invitation to come on Underground Railroad. And
thank you, brother.
yes,
Thank you, sir.
yes, sir.
Thank
and,
you, sir.
Okay, and this will be on YouTube.
Yes.
And the Underground Railroad TV show comes on every Saturday night at 10:30. After the news, get the real news. I'm sorry, Underground Railroad
Yes,
TV
sir.
show. But I mean, you have to join these organizations. Could y'all please just give y'all telephone number one more time?
872-800-7355.
Thank you.
888-724-2960.
And reach me through the underground.
Alhamdulillah. Let's say assalamu.